Hey everybody, Boomhauer69 here, and today's video I'm going to talk about what I would do if I had the money to help out these people that I discovered I'd say a few months back that are now homeless. Right off the bat, I don't know these homeless people, some situation like how they became homeless. I just know they're homeless living in their car. That's all I know, and thought I'd make this video maybe to also to help out those people out there that are planning on helping out the homeless and stuff, to give them some ideas and stuff and maybe ways to help. First of all, these people that it's a man and woman situation. I think it's a mother and son situation. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. I think it's a situation where a mother and son became homeless and living in the car and got to start over again. I don't know how they became homeless, and that's none of my business. I just happen to know these people a few months back became homeless, so I've helped them out a little bit. One of the things I helped them out with is I gave them a little hot plate stove, so they can have something to use to cook with. Because in my area there's plenty of parts that have electrical outlets and a little hot plate. You can plug it in and it acts as a little one burner stove, little electric stove, so they can, if they got a pot and pan, they can cook with and stuff. I don't know how these people became homeless. I don't know if they were renting and lost a rental house or they had a fire or whatever the case may be. I don't know none of that. And again, that's none of my business. And I also, because it was at the time when I discovered these people, they were, it was summertime, hot weather, and I gave them a little USB plug-in fan that to kind of help them out, with the cooler, one of them little cheap ones. But right down to business, I'm going to talk about what I would do if I was just a wealthy, rich person, had billions, had tons of money. And then I'm going to talk about, realistically, first off, right off the bat, if I was a rich millionaire, billionaire guy, I would just either buy them a house, buy them a house in town or out in the country, or buy them some land and put a single wide mobile home trailer on it, or a single wide mobile home trailer, or double wide mobile home trailer, or build them a small 2-bedroom house and then be like, oh, don't worry about the taxes for the next 5 years. You just worry about your utilities and yada yada. If I was that kind of rich and well-to-do person and had billions of dollars, there's that. What I do if I had like the Bedouin Hillbillies call it, them new kind of dollars, millions or billions of dollars, where I was making millions and millions off of YouTube every month and stuff, then I would definitely do something like that for them. Now, realistically, what I would be able to more pull off, but still couldn't afford to do it, is their situation. I don't know if they have family members or people that live out in the country that would let them set up an RV camper on some property. If I knew they did, like if I talked to them, they said, oh yeah, we have family members that would let us set up an RV camper, we just got to have the money. Then what I would do is I'd go on the most likely the Facebook Marketplace, because that's the one I always look at a lot for classifieds and see what's for sale and stuff in my area. Is Facebook Marketplace. I would then look at getting them a nice, decent, because I know for around $5,000 you can get a nice, decent camper. For probably what I would do is get them one of them campers that have like a kitchen, a living room, bedroom, and bathroom set up and stuff, because since there's 2 people, a decent sized camper that would allow 2 people to sleep and stay comfortably and stuff. If they had somewhere to put one up, obviously I can't set something like that up in my backyard and let them stay, because I live in a town. I live inside a village, what they call village limits. And I have laws and zoning where my local zoning government would say no to that. So for those out there say, well, why don't you put one in your yard, a camper, and let them stay in it? I can't because my zoning, building ordinance laws, or as Canadians call it, bylaws, would not allow that because I have zoning laws and stuff, and I'm not allowed to do that, or I would and stuff, and then plus my house I can't because no room. But yeah, that's what I would do for them if they had like a family member or something out in the country. I would a camper. But if they didn't have that option, then it would be looking at either a minivan, conversion van, or if they wanted to and they think they could pull it off, a motorhome. You know, it's because I know for around $5,000 or so, you can get some decent, motorhomes. And same thing with campers. In my area, usually for around $5-6 grand. We'll say $5 to $10 grand. You can easily get like a nice 90s to early 2000s for around. Well, 90s campers and early 2000 campers are in pretty decent shape in my area. They go for about $2-3 grand and so forth, depending on condition. But yeah, $5 grand, you usually get a nice decent camper in my area, no problems and stuff. So if they had friends or family members, I would say, yeah, they could set up a camper and lived out in the country and they didn't mind letting them set up a camper, stay in it. I would totally do that for them. But if they couldn't do that, then it would be a motorhome, more likely a conversion van, or maybe if they're like, well, I don't want a big old van, I can't drive that sort of thing, and then it'd be some sort of minivan because they live in a 4-door car, so it would be a little bit, and with 2 people in it, it's kind of cramped. Just it's a standard what they call 4-door sedan car. It's just a regular 4-door car where there ain't a whole lot of room for somebody to kind of stretch out and relax. And I know with conversion vans, they have some amenities like a camper. They're in between an RV, motorhome, camper / van, where they have the nice big old bench seats usually in the rear. They'll have a big old bench seats in the rear that will fold down flat into a nice bed where somebody could, stretch out and relax as well. One thing is, I know some people are going to bring this up. What about a cargo van? Well, cargo vans are usually in the rear not insulated, where like a regular minivan or conversion van have a little more insulation versus a cargo van. Now, the neat thing was a cargo van, if you got money, blank canvas, throw some air mattresses in the back, and if you want to, I guess go hog wild with some spray foam insulation, it comes in a can, and try your best to insulate it. But I wouldn't think that a cargo van would be kind of not a good idea, or a box cargo van. I don't think would be a good idea for them because I don't know their money situation. I know the lady, she does have a job, but I don't know, again, her money situation, how much she's pulling in and stuff. And if you're got a lot of bills and different things, you're in debt, obviously your paycheck towards that. So that's why I would more for them a conversion van, or if they knew they could get away with it, hell, I'd get them a nice motorhome. So that's what I do for these people. I've mentioned to them before about my little pantry out in the yard, that they're welcome to that and stuff as well. They know all about that. If I remember it, the lady, she watches my YouTube video, so she knows all about the things I do and stuff. But yeah, I thought I would make this little video, just simply explaining what I would do for them and stuff. These people that became homeless and living in their car and stuff, if I had the money and the means to do so, and also to kind of help people out that are planning on in their area that's got buttloads of money and wanting to help out homeless, to give them some rough ideas. My best advice is get to know, like I got to know these these people a little bit, kind of how their living situation is currently right now, and that's why I was thinking realistically, if like some sort of van and stuff where they would have a lot more room to have things and more room to stretch out and things. And I think for the lady and boy there, I think it's a mother and son situation. I think they would be really wowed at that. Definitely a motorhome or conversion van to help them out and stuff in the situation if I had the funding to do so. Cause I know winter's coming up, and with a conversion van you could either if you know how to do it, you could I think you could figure out how to install a mini split system on one of them little diesel heaters and stuff, and there's it gives you a lot more space and option. When I thought about a conversion van idea, if I had the $10,000 for a conversion van, because I think in my area a good quality conversion van is going to run you about $15,000-$20,000. If you want like super good, but if you want kind of you're not too much worried about the year anyways. I think for around $10,000 you can get easily a decent conversion van that ain't all ratted out junk, high miles rust bucket that should have been in the scrapyard years ago. You don't have to, with $10,000 you wouldn't have to worry about those kind. I know nowadays any vehicle under $5,000 it's gonna be total junk, and you might as well send it to the scrapyard. But yeah, the best thing to do is you're going to help out somebody in need is get to know the current situation they're in and talk to the people and stuff. I talked to these people a little bit, gave them some stuff, and I even in the summertime when I gave them a little USB plug-in USB fan that I happened to spot at Menards and stuff, and gave them one of them little one burner hot plates so they have something to cook on and stuff. If they was homeless living in a tent out in the woods somewhere, I would be one of these, little charcoal cook stoves so they can have to cook on the ground and stuff. That's what I would do for like homeless people living in a tent out in the woods or something, versus a hot plate and stuff. I would get them one of those so that way. But yeah, I got them a little hot plate because in my area, a lot of the parks have electrical outlets where they could plug it in and heat them up some food and stuff. A lot of the stuff that I sometimes eat, you can just simply put it in a saucepan, and it's just basically opening up a can and dumping it in there and stuff. So yeah, that's what I do for them. And that's what I should say did for them gave them a little hot point and stuff. And if something else down the line, I'm browsing the internet, catches my eye, that would be handy for people living in their cars and stuff. Hey, I would. Now, what I would even do for them if I had the money is I would definitely look at like a little fold-up solar panel and a little solar power station. I know Bluetti, Anarch, EcoFlow, there's Jackery, yeah, Bluetti, and there's a ton out there that I know about that are pretty good. Anarch, EcoFlow, Jackery, Bluetti, and I know there's one more I can't quite think of that's a decent brand, but I know quite a few out there on little solar power stations, and I'm kind of big into solar and done quite a bit of research where if I had the money to at about around $500-$600, I'd definitely hook them up with a nice, good quality, foldable 100-watt solar panel, and then a nice foldable and then a nice decent size portable power station that wouldn't take up a whole lot of space in their vehicle. Like I would probably contact that Bob Wells from Cheap RV Living and say, hey, what Bluetti would you recommend for somebody living power station, or what one you'd recommend for somebody living in a small, little four-door sedan car and sedan. Excuse me, four-door sedan car, and see what he says. I plop, and should do that sometime. That's somebody that I watch that does a lot of nomad videos about basically living out of vehicles and stuff, and modified vehicles and stuff, like the nomad life, as they call it, And he's always doing all kinds of videos about solar and little products and stuff. And then also winter's coming, so yeah, I just thought of this. Maybe I'll have to look into one of them little DC plug-in heated blankets that they have for DC power stuff, for them, because winter's coming up and stuff. So I have to remember that. Look at a good one on Amazon. But yeah, but that's what I would do if I had the money. Money is most likely, realistically, look into, like, if I had the money, a good conversion van, or some sort of motorhome, or even possibly maybe if they said, oh, just a minivan would be better suited. A minivan would be some sort of van type. If I did went with like a motorhome style, I'd look at the more kind of van style ones, where it's more like in the past, I know Dodge used to make the Trans vans, and then Chevy made their version of a Trans van and stuff. Yeah, and I know quite a bit about conversion vans. I know some of the I know Ford made the Econoline, and some of them Econoline passenger vans had some seats in the back that could fold down into a bed, and removable seats and stuff and everything. But yeah, that's what I'd do for these people if I could had the funds and money, And again, if my advice to anybody, if you're gonna help out somebody in need, kind of know the situation they're currently in. Take note, whether they're living in a car, living in a tent, camp, or what, Think of what would be, what you think they might be needing, or even ask them, hey, what do you need, stuff, what would be best to do and stuff, like, hey, what do you need and stuff, So yeah, that's all I got for this video today. If you like this sort of content, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Again, I'm just doing this video for those that are looking for ideas and stuff, and just kind of sharing what I would like to do, because that's one of my goals, to be able to help out those in need, and I figure this video is one more step closer to being able to accomplish that goal of making enough money to be able to do those other things to help people in need and stuff. But yep, if you like this sort of content, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you didn't like it, comment your thoughts below. Did you think this was a good video, bad video, whatever? Don't forget to share this video with everyone you know, because the more views I get, the more cha-ching I get, the more full of these pockets become, by the more views I get off my videos. And so you sharing this video is going to help me out personally. And also by you subscribing actually helps me too. By gaining more subscribers on my YouTube channel, that helps me out in the algorithm and all that stuff. So I hope you all have a good day, and thank you for watching Boomhauer69's YouTube channel.